This is Juliet and Brigitte here. After a long and challenging day, we made it. And even though we thought that maybe we weren't going to make it, and yes, we got a little bit despondent at the difficulties and things, but here we are. We've turned up.
Yes, we have. It's a miracle.
Yes, poor Brigitte, she thought that I wasn't going to be here. Just the same way as like a few months ago with Marion, I was panicking. Where is she? Where is she? Because she didn't show up. And Brigitte had that experience with me today. So sorry about that, Brigitte. So sorry.
It just feels a little bit, it's just sometimes it's internet, you know. Sometimes the links work, sometimes they don't. And yeah, so that's life.
That's life. And everything seemed to change today. It's the links seem to change right at the last minute. It's like, oh, what's going on? And
yes. And so waiting for each one of you to come and join us, wherever you are on this planet Earth, because today was really creating a circle. I feel this is what you were saying, Juliet. You know,
creating a circle, yes, and
a sacred circle. Well, that's what I shared too.
So
opening a sacred circle feels really.
Before we go any further, let's just check that things are working, because. So yeah, we're working on YouTube, but on Facebook. Is there anybody watching from Facebook?
Well, Abigail is here. So good evening, beautiful Abigail. Thank you for joining us. We have had a little issue managing to go live, but we're here.
Yeah. So who else? Is there anybody that can actually see us on Facebook? Because
not yet.
Facebook doesn't seem to be showing us live. So
it's a mystery.
It's a mystery, because no matter how much I've set it up ahead of time, it doesn't necessarily do.
Oh, thank you, Abigail. Loads of hearts to you. Oh, Jack is saying, we're not seeing you on Facebook. Okay, Jack. Mm-hmm. Yes, that's why we had difficulties logging in earlier on. I did put the links on Facebook and on Messenger.
Yeah.
So it's quite something, isn't it?
Yeah. So
maybe we need to go and do what is called a podcast. That might work better.
Well, nobody will be able to see our lovely faces if we do a podcast.
Oh, right.
Podcast is just sound, Brigitte. So
that's rather beautiful too.
So I don't know why this is not. So stay with us, everybody who's here.
Well, there's lovely Abigail and beautiful Jack.
So I'm sharing a link again to Facebook. So, there we are. I've done it. Okay, Jack, tell us now. Can you see us?
Jacqueline, blessings and love to you both. Oh, blessings and love to you, Jacqueline. And thank you for being there last week. Marion, hello, beautiful Marion. It's a real tribe coming on every Wednesday evening.
Yes, good. That's what we're building, a tribe. And, this tribe, you could all support each other and be in touch and support each other kind of in between times as well, couldn't you? So it's not on LinkedIn either yet. Let me see what's going on there. LinkedIn.
You're welcome, Jacqueline. I hope your week has been good. Yes, you're now on Facebook, Juliet. So that's good.
Yes, I'm mastering this. That's wonderful. So
I'm going to have to do the same.
So as for Twitter.
Well.
Yes. Oh, no. Yes. Okay, fantastic. 4 out of 4. That's wonderful.
Congratulations, Juliet. You're making a huge progress.
I am.
You're on the other side of the bridge, darling. I'm still paddling with my feet in the water.
I did some lovely paddling on the weekend. I went to the seaside and paddled and got absolutely drenched with the waves as well.
Wow.
It was that like the beach went down really, really steeply, and so the waves would come up sometimes, but not other times. So if you went closer to try and get your feet into the waves, you risked actually drowning, because suddenly there'd be a huge, and I got absolutely drenched from my hips down.
Yeah.
I had to lie on the beach and try and squeeze the water out of my clothes and things. Hi, Therese. Hi.
Hello, beautiful one. So the links I sent worked. Good. So Jackie's saying congratulations to you. And Abigail says, Juliet, you're learning. Wonderful.
Yeah,
We're all learning from each other.
Yeah. So, and the nights are drawing in and it's dark and I'm sitting in a different place. Do you know that we've been doing this video? I don't know when we started. Does anybody know? Jack, maybe, do you remember when we did the first one? Was it
with
June?
Me?
With Marion at the beginning. Was it June or something like that?
You and I, we did one before you went with
Marion.
Marion.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yes, you and I started it in the first place,
Yeah,
didn't we?
yes, and then you went with Marion, wizard, and then you went back with Mabby as Marion went to Mexico, abandoned you on a ship, sinking or floating or sailing now.
Yeah.
Well, you've done mega progress, Juliet.
Yeah, but I wish we could have better quality. But anyway, that's another step. So anyway, how is everybody now that we know that it's all working and we have some lovely people here? How are you? Because
Sharon, hello, Sharon, beautiful Sharon, hello.
And Jacqueline.
Yes, I had just switched on my PC, and to my surprise, there you both were. How wonderful synchronicity. Well, that is some synchronicity, Jacqueline. Definitely, definitely. Yes, you're aligned, darling. You really are aligned.
You are aligned because we were trying to see ourselves just now and we weren't there, even though we knew we were. So you've had an amazing gift, actually, being able to turn on and we're here. So, yes. Yes, my thoughts when I was thinking about what's important for this week, and I posted about togetherness, like how important it is today at this time, like no matter what's going on, and there's some really intense things going on. We keep saying that week after week, but it's true. There's massively intense things going on. And it's like, how can we stand together at this point in time? And somebody came to see me this morning and they were very distressed. And because a few days ago they were telling me, oh, don't get overwhelmed with what's going on, Juliet. Don't pay attention to it, all this satanic stuff and all this abuse stuff. It's much better for your mental health just to focus on other things. And then this morning, the same person came to me and said about how suddenly it all jumped out at him, how satanic the whole thing is that's going on. And that one of our government, because I don't watch the government stuff at all, but I don't know whether it was the Prime Minister or maybe it was the health official, had been threatening people. Either they get this thing stuck in their arm, otherwise they were going to be losing their jobs and so on. And the thing that hit him was that message was put out exactly on the night, and I've never heard of this before, of when the Nazis went round taking everybody from their homes, and it's called Crystal something. Have you heard of that, Brigitte? There was a specific night in the Second World War where the SS went round and gathered up all the Jewish people. And that his point was that this announcement by our health official had been made specifically on that night. And, maybe there was some intention in that, and that there was a lot of a deliberate intention in a lot of the things that get put out that we don't even notice. most of the time. Like, for instance, the opening games for the Olympics, the Olympic ceremony, the opening ceremony for the Olympic Games for the UK back in, when was it, 2000 and, I don't know when it was, 2015, 14, something like that. You know, it's totally shocking when you look at that now, that ceremony in context with what we know that's going on.
Yes. Sharon is saying it was the night of broken glass.
That's it. Yes. Thank you, Sharon.
And Abigail said, hubby told me today a teacher who has been teaching for 25 years can no longer work due to not taking the poison. Yes. Marianne, it's getting so clear now. Yes, it is. And Jack, let's all come together and support each other and form communities like Healing Gardens. Yes.
Yeah.
And Jacqueline, it's a precious, amazing, precious gift to be with you and with each one of you. And Abigail, she's had a lovely day today, finding joy in the everyday. That is beautiful. And it's called Crystal Nacht. Yes. Yes, it was the Crystal Nacht, the Germans. But the Germans did other things in France when they left France, and they realized that they had lost and they were asked to retreat completely. What they did, they would burn down whole villages and yes, and put on the gun, at the end of the gun, all the family's children. And there are whole villages like that, and only some children managed to escape in the forests, managed to speak about what did happen.
Yeah, completely horrendous. And what is shocking is that we think that we won at the end of the last war, but we haven't won. We didn't vanquish the Nazis, because the Nazis were the same Nazis that then went to America and worked with the CIA to create the mind control programs. And what's happening now is just a continuation, actually, of that same thing. So we didn't finish the work then, and we have to, you know, really do whatever we have to do at this point in time to shift the consciousness around this, and for humanity to rise above it with whatever it takes. And the other, go on.
I was just going to say it's an inner process, because even those Germans who didn't get shot, although they were court-martialed, they were sent to America because they needed their technologies. What we need to look at, each one of us around this sacred circle, is we too took part in that. Because if I remember France, within France, there was divide to conquer. There was divide.
There was, wasn't there? There was the Vichy government.
Everywhere. There was, even before the Vichy government, there was something else going on.
Yeah.
So it's huge. It was huge. So it's, what is it in me? When is it that I betray my value? Because it was about compromising and betrayal. So it goes much deeper. I'm sorry, I just always take things a little bit deeper.
Well, that's exactly where I want to go. It's like we thought that we'd achieve something then, and you know, it was the war to end all wars or whatever, and that was, you know, everything was all okay, but it wasn't okay, because we still haven't done the healing that we needed to do there. And like, where are we still betraying ourselves? And as long as we're betraying ourselves, then we are polarizing, and we're making, because that unconscious part of ourselves that we haven't healed, that's when we project out and make somebody else bad. So they're bad because they've got the injection in their arms, or they're bad because they haven't got it, or they're bad because they won't wear a thing on their face, or they're bad because they are wearing a thing on them. They're bad because, you know, everything is designed by this group of people, whoever it is that's behind all this, that funded all the wars, both sides, that's still trying to squash humanity. Their main tactic is creating fear, massive fear, and putting one side of humanity against another, to divide humanity up into lots of subgroups and make them attack each other. So it's so important that we stand together now. It's like are we ready to learn this lesson that we have to do our own self-healing, really deep self-healing, and stand together?
So beautiful. Abigail says there's a hidden agenda here, and they're not telling us what is truly going on. Well, I would say, Abigail, how about
I think you've frozen, Brigitte. So whilst Brigitte unfreezes, whatever is happening with her, yeah, so what can we do to really go deeper with our own self-healing and to get in touch with, where we betray ourselves? So I think often we betray ourselves when we're feeling so overwhelmed that it's too fearful. It's like too much of an effort to step up to and deal with what's going on, that we have to keep hidden. We have to keep our voices down, that we don't challenge anything. We have to stay under the radar. I think Brigitte is about to come back. Hi, Brigitte. Hi.
just hold on. I'm trying to find you. Hold on.
It's okay. It's all right.
I don't know where you are.
I can see you. I can see you.
Can't
Can you
see
see
you.
This is so funny, this technology.
Are
It
you-
was so simple when we first met, wasn't it, Brigitte?
Oh, good gracious. Do I need to reopen the restream? No.
I don't know. You just clicked on the link and you've come on.
There we are. Okay, just a minute. My thing is not stable. So maybe I need to change and go into the
Okay.
personal hotspot.
Go onto your personal hotspot. I don't know. You do whatever you do.
Don't worry.
Do.
I'm just doing
So
my bit.
Marianne is saying, what a terrible bargain the US and the West made for that technology of the mind control program. And yes, it was a terrible bargain, wasn't it? I mean, there were many terrible bargains that were made. One was about appeasement at the start of the Second World War. It's like wherever we attempt to appease, to go along with what's happening, to appease by wearing the things on our faces, or to appease by agreeing to being shut in our homes, or to appease any of those kind of restrictions, they're all an attempt to appease, aren't they? Wherever we go along with that, it leads to a far worse consequence. And that's so clear at this moment in time that we have to stop the appeasement. We have to
Can
stop.
you see me again?
Hello.
I think it's going to be musical chairs tonight.
Pop in, pop out, Brigitte. I'm just
Oh
saying
my
we have
God.
to stop appeasing. We have to stop making bargains to try and feel safe.
Yes, but this is where we have we have spoken about this before, all the programmation from the time we were children. It's interesting because the other day we were just mentioning one thread, how when we are children we're told to sit quietly, to sit on the bench, to listen to the teacher, to learn by heart the lesson, to learn by heart the lesson. Jack says the Nazis infiltrated NASA too. Yes, yes. But in a river, sometimes if there is a tree that blocks the river, the water gets stagnant. And then if you get the beavers, if you get the natural,
You mean those little
nature,
things that
they will just make a house and they will just do their work. Okay. And then the river will find a different way of going around. So when did we stop flowing and connecting with all of life? And this happened as well. When we came into a totally saturated lineage, transgenerational lineage with trauma. So we were talking about the wars, the traumas. And it's just like, this is not even hundreds of years, this is thousands of years that this has been going on. There is a hidden agenda, which is much more complex than anything that we can see in this dimension, in this 3D reality. if we start thinking and understanding, just starting to open a little window and grasp that we are multidimensional beings. We are. And everything has spirits, even the trees. And the shamans know that. The Amerindians knew that. The Inuits know that. The Aborigines know that. But at the end of the day, all those cultures have been crushed underfoot and are still being crushed underfoot.
Yeah, because
right. Yeah, go on, Juliet.
When we can connect with ourselves as these multidimensional beings and like that we are a real spiritual force, each one of us, and we become uncontrollable. And Sharon has just said, just here about the need to resource and replenish. So what happens when we resource is that we're actually taking time for ourselves to really to connect in with ourselves. When we're stressed and then we're in a state of fear and anxiety, we can't connect with ourselves. There's a lot of things that just get shut down when we're stressed, and our health really suffers. So the number one thing is to resource and replenish and take time in nature and to take care of our bodies. And that's really going to make us an unstoppable force when we do that, because humans are amazing and we can do that.
Yeah. And nurture, self-care, self-love, MK, ultra mind control depends upon us. Yes, definitely. They feed off us. They feed off our negative energies, our trauma, our fear, our angst, our longing of, for example, we long to have money, we long to have a loved one, or we covet somebody else. So that's what I call the traps, the illusions. Where there is war, there is money. Yes, Abigail, but the banks are behind that. And who is behind the banks? The Rothschild family, the Vatican, and the royalties were behind the banks. And Rockefeller and others were billionaires beyond what any of us have any notion, and that's sort of a royal, I have been given this gift from God, I am queen or I'm king. No.
So we're equal. We're all equal. We're all equal under God. We're all part of God. We're all divine, all of us.
So and beautiful Sharon, she wrote, being afraid and in fight, in flight, in freeze, when we calm this state, that may have been normal for us. We awaken the potential of the spirit. Yes. And then we can live from soul and spirit embodied. Yeah. Few are walking this world on a soul level. When you're on a soul level, you don't expect anything from anyone, because you're already in synchronicity, you're already aligned with your higher purpose. But when you're on your ego or your personality level, you're still working your process, and that's okay. It's just steps we need to do. But when the ego takes over at the hands of your life,
well, you could call it in a way when we're massively traumatized, and then we have to create a false self to be able to cope with the pain of what's going on. So like when we talk about the ego taking over, I mean there was an element of judgment somehow in that, and to step back behind that again and having compassion for what people have had to do in order to survive remarkably difficult circumstances.
Yes.
And
we did talk about that last week, that profound quality, value, virtue, that we need to hold compassion, whatever journey we're on.
Yeah.
Even those who have chosen to walk the dark. Okay, maybe like Bill Gates or Dr. Fauci. So maybe they're 100% aligned with their divine purpose. That's quite something to think about, isn't it? But if they're 100% aligned with a divine purpose, that means they're part of a higher purpose. We have no idea what this is, most of us, but the divine source, creation, knows.
Yeah, the thing is for all of us to be 100% aligned with our divine purpose. So Nicola has shared, hang on, let's see.
BlackRock and Vanguard are the two companies that own most of the world. They own all the other companies. Coca-Cola and Pepsi are owned by them. Unilever and Kraft, all the banks, the media. Okay, thank you, Nicola.
Yeah,
Nicola,
thank you.
that's
Thank
a great information because, and who, I wonder, who is above BlackRock and Vanguard?
Who's what, sorry?
Who is above them? I would question that,
Yeah.
okay? In the, what is called the hierarchical,
And
in the top of the pyramid, those who were there because they've been taken down.
yeah. So a message here from
Jacqueline,
Jacqueline, yes.
it's beautiful.
I'm
Yes.
on my journey of self-healing, a painful but fruitful one, however, which is teaching me many lessons, raising my spiritual awareness and awakening the potential of my spirit, as Sharon said, our spirit, yes.
And our spirit too. Yes, because we are one. So as we sit here together, it's really beautiful just to witness each one of you sharing.
Yes, it's
wisdom.
We've all got parts of this puzzle, haven't we? We're all here to support and help each other with each piece of wisdom that we have.
Oh yes, we will. We will when we are multidimensional being. We will. We do. But we do not reveal.
So Jack says we'll never hear the names of the ones at the top.
No, they are. They are being revealed. It's just they cannot be revealed in the open. When something is too evil, we don't even name, because naming gives power over.
Well, it's quite interesting because David Martin, whose lectures I've posted on my Telegram channel, and if you don't know my Telegram channel, everyone, I would recommend that you look at it because there's a lot of information there that I don't manage to post on Facebook because of the censorship. But David Martin, he's the man that's done a tremendous amount of research. He's a very gifted speaker and professor, and he knows a lot about patent law and so on, and he's really revealing what's going on and speaking out. And in this one video I posted, this one lecture, he said that I can't stand by and see the children being killed, and I will shine a light, and you can put a label on me, you can put a tag on me if you like, and when my time has come, that's it. I'm not worried about that, but I'm going to be completely speaking the truth of what I know about the evil that's being done at this moment in time. Yes. And the murder of the children that's now happening. So very courageous man. And so his point is like, it's important to speak out and not to keep these things in the dark, because we need to bring the light, we need to bring attention.
Yeah.
And that we don't reveal anything by adding more darkness to darkness, or taking retaliation or any of those things, which is more darkness. We have to shine the light, and we have to stand there in our truth and in our compassion as well.
Well, my sense is shining the light is really standing and witnessing in absolute presence what is unfolding.
Yeah, and Sharon says they hide in the dark, but there is no corner that light won't shine eventually. Yes.
Yeah. And yes, Sharon, the 13 families are being exposed. Yes, that's happened. Yes.
So where can each one of us shine the light where we haven't managed to shine it before? It might be speaking to a family member, or it might be standing in your truth and not covering your face when you go into a shop. It might be standing up, like so many millions of people now are losing their jobs or deciding or opting not to have their job rather than being injected with a lethal injection. That shining their light.
So how do I live more vibrations for myself and family? Well, joy is really amazing for higher vibrations, happiness, happy thoughts, good thoughts, kindness. As regard your family, I think as you feel more moment by moment, that sense of gratitude, moment by moment, I'm alive, I'm breathing, I can feel my heartbeat, seeing the autumn, seeing the trees, listening to the birds, having a loved one, sitting with a child, hugging a cat, caressing a cat, and feeling deep inside you that resonance and then sharing that with the family. That's going to help your frequency stay higher up. And remember, we're being helped because right now, for hundreds of years, we've all been trying to keep our frequencies, but there was so much going on. It was like a lead weight on top. And now it is just the energies globally of the world are helping us cosmologically too. So if we know and we believe that we are doing this work, but the earth is doing the work too. So
yes, so shining our light is also just lifting our vibration and choosing to step into doing something pleasant for yourself rather than stepping into the fear and going along with the agenda. Maybe when the temptation comes to turn on the news to see what's happening, then shining your light is not turning on the news. It's going out for a walk instead.
yes, and having a good drink, eating simple, good food, smiling, being thankful. And when someone is ungracious, instead of reacting, just put a little smile,
Yeah.
And maybe that person has had a terrible day. Maybe that person has just been in the face of something terrible.
Yeah.
Like my daughter recently, she was hit from the back. A man hit her. She was driving her daughter to school. So how are we when suddenly, we are going to meet more and more of those situations? How do we encounter them? But
Yes.
if we are resourced, we can encounter them with much more peace than
Yes.
if we're not resourced. Sorry, Juliet.
Yeah, sorry, I'm cutting across you. It's
Sorry,
exciting topic, isn't it? So, yeah, we have a responsibility to ourselves all the time to keep resourced and to notice if we are getting a reaction with somebody. To bring in the compassion, as you say, Brigitte, and it's like, why is that person being like that? Are they stuck in fear? Are they, some bad things going on for them? So, to be mindful rather than reacting. But then to step back and it's like, what's going on in me? Why am I finding this person difficult? What part of me is being touched by this difficult situation that's coming up in this moment? And this is where you're doing your own healing work. It's
Yes.
like, why am I getting triggered? What is it unresolved in me in this moment that is being touched by seeing this person that's got a sad face, or seeing this person who appears to be angry, or seeing this person that seems to be rude to me? Are they really being rude? Are they really sad? Are they really angry? Or is it me having a reaction? What's being touched in me? So you bring the responsibility back to yourself to do the healing work. What healing do I need to do around this? Rather than blaming people, rather than projecting out and attacking each other.
We did touch on that last week, and that was the shadow material. And we touched on it too with Jack, who is on the call, Jack Cox, who's written Love Not Fear. And it was how easy it is to add to the shadow rather than acknowledge, oh, I'm being activated. And then I go back, take a paper, take a pen, and then start writing. Where is it I feel activated? Oh, can I just allow myself just to be with that? and feel the anger or the sadness and go deeper and deeper. And that is what's being requested right now with the planets in Scorpio. Planets are in the sign of Scorpio. And Scorpio is about going deeper and doing our own inner work. Psychic work, emotional work, embodying, and allowing ourselves, let's resource that part that may have never been seen. And suddenly somebody, through that activation, thank you. You've given me another piece of myself. Thank you. And I can shine the light on that.
Yeah, so it's bringing it all back home again, isn't it? It's not just about shining the light on the evil stuff that they are doing,
Yeah.
and finding out that agenda that's going on. I mean, it's good to see that, but the more we bring it back and we shine the light inside onto our own selves, we begin to understand where our own inner darkness or our own dissociation is causing us not to be able to be the divine beings that we are. The more we can do that, we get more power, more capacity to connect with others and to hold the light.
That is beautiful. Yeah, and it's not easy. I really hear you, Abigail. Thank you, Juliet and Mabi. Some days can be hard due to my hubby being ill. Yeah. So how to be with that? How to create more spaciousness when he's not feeling well, when you're not feeling well, So not to reach that place when you're feeling overwhelmed, not having space for yourself. So
Yeah, this is where resourcing comes in, Abigail.
yeah.
So when we feel under a big pressure of something, we tend to put ourselves aside and work harder. And that's the worst thing that can happen. We need to really step aside and to nourish ourselves, nourish our bodies in every way possible, because then that lifts the mood as well. As you take care of your physical body, the mood lifts. And then you've got more capacity for being with difficult situations. And Sharon says, each interaction is an opportunity to heal the wound that is being triggered. I find I see this clearer now. I can choose my reaction. Choose space to choose always, playing out in me and as we see in the collective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. I thank you, Sharon. That's beautifully shared, because there is no separation. Each one of you, you're here today on this. We're sitting around a fire, or we're listening by a stream, sitting on the grass, whatever. But each one, you're sharing of your wisdom, and it feels very profoundly moving.
We've all
Because there
got,
is no separation. You and I feel you feeling me, like I feel you, Abigail. When you find that it's a little bit harder when hubby is being ill. So when that is happening, create more spaciousness. This is what beautiful Sharon has just said. So if you choose spaciousness, there is nothing that needs fixing, just being present and witnessing. And that requires us to stay absolutely grounded, resourced, aligned, and drink and eat good food, listen to good music, dance, sing, whatever.
yeah. So Abigail, that's very lovely that you find peace when you come and you listen to us talking. So we all have that capacity, Abigail. So what you're witnessing is our ability that we're learning. I mean, we're not always peaceful, but we're learning to regulate our nervous system so we can have more spaciousness, as Brigitte is saying. And that this is something that each one of us can do for ourselves. And we may have started immensely at a disadvantage because we didn't have that regulation from our parents when we were children. So it's harder to self-regulate, but we can learn to do that. And as you learn, as you resource, Abigail, and you learn to regulate more, then that's going to immediately be really helpful for your hubby, because the better regulated you are, then you also become a resource for him.
Yeah.
This is what I teach on the trauma skills training, is how to self-regulate, and how then as you do that, those ripples flow out, and then immediately your family starts to feel better. And then this gradually spreads around the planet, that we can all heal in this way.
And the family. The other day I had a little 3-year-old I was looking after, and his mum was really unwell and very ill. So she went to have a quantum healing treatment, and I looked after the 3-year-old. And then when I handed back the 3-year-old after playing for 3.5 hours and giving him food, and he watched me peeling the potatoes, peeling the apples, and connecting how I was doing it in the machine with what his mother was doing. So he was weaving one and the other. Because it's a long time for the 3-year-old to be with a stranger. We do know by sight, but I'd never looked after him. And what was beautiful is when he went back home, he'd been in my energy space, giving him a lot of spaciousness to engage, to play, to sing, to sit by the fire, and then to watch the cooking, and then to eat and help him eating when he couldn't cope anymore because he was getting sleepy. He asked me if I could feed him, and I fed him like a baby. It was really moving. It was like a little bird. And his mum then said, I don't know what you did, but we got home and he just played on his own, which he rarely ever does. And that's what I think Juliet is talking about. When you create spaciousness, but you still engage in presence and you are there for that person, but there's nothing that needs fixing, and there is a quality that absolutely fills that cup.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to share that because it really matters how we are when we suddenly find ourselves in a situation which I didn't expect. You know, so, and such situations are going to crop in our lives more and more. Well, that was a beautiful situation because I was with a little 3-year-old. But there are other situations, like me being with a friend who's been my GP for over 35 years, who is going to die. That's a different situation, but it's the same presence, witness, and holding that frequency of seeing that being absolutely well, even if he's going to die. Well at every level. Because for me, he's a being of light. And this being of light is in his body. And so, whatever I'm doing at distance, being with them, that's the same. It's the same process. Not projecting I need to fix him, but just being by his side, although I'm never with him, and sending him love. Absolute unconditional love. And that's what we're talking about. And that's not always easy to hold. And don't get me wrong, I cry. I mean, I had a weekend, Sunday and Monday, Juliet was with me. I just sobbed because you mentioned how can we speak to our families and start changing things. Well, we can't when they believe 100% in what has been brainwashed into them.
Yes, it's military grade mind control that's been rolled out on the global population, isn't it?
Okay, so for example, me telling my son, can you just stop and think for a moment? I was crying by that moment because he had not been very gracious with me. And at one moment I said, can you just ponder a moment as you're a teacher? Can you just think a moment that both sides of the war, when I was born, my parents had to flee. and I was in my mother's belly. Can you just stop and think? Both sides were being paid by the same people because they wanted to divide to conquer and start a war, so there would be less men, less young men, less middle men, less elder men going back home as janitors. So think about that.
Yeah.
So that's not easy, is it? Hard to engage, but still speak your truth, even though it's not being heard. That's what I wanted to share. Thank you.
To be spacious with us. We have Debbie here. And that's so beautiful, Debbie, what you've just shared. She says, good afternoon, you lovely too. How that's beautiful. Thank you. I just joined on your babysit story, Brigitte. Wonderful that you planned. Wonderful. I had planned my day of jobs to break at 5 p.m. to listen to you both. And at 4:30, I felt needed energizing, so I listened to Spooky 2 Frequency on YouTube and fell asleep. Wow.
I love that. Spooky 2 is amazing. And yes, it will put you to sleep, Debbie, definitely. I had a session last week and I slept for 2 hours, just unheard of for me. So, Abigail, I find peace when I come here and listen to you, beautiful soul. Yes, but we all have that when our nervous system starts being more in a coherence state. That's what beautiful Juliet has been teaching. And it's starting to be globally now spreading how to heal our trauma and the collective trauma.
It's all about our nervous system. This is the key.
Yeah.
The solution to healing is so simple.
Yeah. And the nervous system doesn't know if it's real. You can even imagine that you're in nature listening to a stream, or you're in nature holding a loved one. Even me holding my cat who passed away last June. And my nervous system will straight away go into quiet space, even though my nervous system doesn't know my cat is gone.
Yeah.
Is that correct, Juliet?
Absolutely, absolutely. So Bobby says, I only listened because I learned about it from you. She's only just listened to Spooky. So
I didn't know that they had them on YouTube. I'm so glad. And there's another thing you need to listen to, Debbie. It's called scalar waves. Scalar waves is a technology which has been designed, well, Tesla, but he didn't pass it on. But it's him that really was, and the Rife machine as well. But the Tesla, I mean, the scalar waves, what they do, they absolutely realign all of your chakras. You have nothing to do. They will just replenish them and offer beautiful frequencies of energies. So, Abigail, that might be good for you to try and look on YouTube for either the Spooky 2 or the Tesla energies for your lovely hubby.
So there's some amazing technologies. So we've been talking about some pretty dire things, but there are incredible things going on at this moment in time. And one thing that's happening is that in the USA, there's a massive strike where people have been forced, coerced, like either you get injected or you don't have a job. And they've said, okay, well, we're not going to work for you anymore. So they've taken a step further and they've gone on strike. So there's many industries that have completely gone on strike. So there's huge movement at this point in time. It's really powerful.
And this is happening. I mentioned Didier last week. Did I mention Didier with you last week? This lovely young man of 50 who had to tear his contract with a clinic. He had to tear his contract. He had a full-time job as a kinesiologist and osteopath. And he was told that he could no longer use his card. I mean, this man has studied. He's paid for his studies. He's got his family. And he was told, unless you have the, you know what, in your blood system, you will lose your job. You can't stay and work. And what he did, he walked out.
Yeah.
And now he's working and training with a friend of mine and to grow plants
It's a
in
wonderful opportunity.
permaculture. So it's one person who has had the courage to do that, like in America. But it's starting to roll. More and more people are doing that.
It's really building, isn't it? And as we're doing this,
It's building.
We're creating a whole different reality, a new world for ourselves as we step outside of those corrupt systems.
And not agree. Sorry, scalar wave is with an R at the end, Debbie. SCALAR. Scalar waves. Okay.
So as we do that and the old things crash, those people, those organizations seeking to control us, as we step out and say, no, you can't control us, we can create our own systems. We can create whole new ways of doing things. That's what we need to do at this point in time, to build new ways, new organizations, new communities, new banking systems. And you'll be astounded when you look at how much of that is happening already. Incredible amount of changes are happening. New technologies, even people who've had this horrible lethal bioweapon injected into their body, there's even technology to help them.
Yeah.
Things that can help them.
Yeah, and yes, Jack, we need to stand by those who have lost their jobs too. Yes, it is happening. I am on a platform in Telegram with cease and desist, and you have people who are voluntary workers. I've got people in Canada and in other countries who are really voluntary workers and who are receiving gifts from other people, and then they are distributing it either in the Philippine Islands or in people who are out of house, people who are in the streets. So they're getting prefabricated houses. So people are really starting to move into their generosity. And that is from the Canadian government, which is a transition government, with the one that has been put in charge as a name has been named as Queen Romana Didulo. And therefore she has done a manifesto, and it's been translated in every language. And all what I am doing personally is sending it to all the councils, all the hospitals, all the schools, and it's a ceasefire. It's the same thing we did in war when we're on the battlefield and the young man would go with his flag, and he would be, and there is the one who used to play the trumpet, and it used to be the white flag saying, let's have a truce, let's stop, because they knew that this was just not their war.
Absolutely, we have to stop. And here we've been sending out the UK Medical Freedom Letter to all the MPs, making them accountable. I mean, there's a huge legal movement in the UK at the moment, challenging all the MPs and the teachers and so on, making them accountable for what's happening. So a massive amount, and any one of you can join in on any of those things if you like. If you follow my Telegram channel, I put things up there for like letter templates and different things that you can do, different things that will support you, and little healing videos and helpful things. So
it's a domino effect. It's happening, isn't it? It's a domino effect. It's everywhere, every country. There are marches. It's everywhere, beautiful ones. And please, wherever you are, create a community circle, create a place where you can speak, where you know you have people that you can talk to.
Yeah, look at this from Sharon. She says, my husband is the same. He has left his career of 30 years and is now not looking back. My good friend left a job, top-level job in the NHS yesterday. This is happening all over. This is how we dismantle the system.
Beautiful. Thank you, Sharon, for sharing that.
Yeah, we should start some street parties and celebrate that these things are happening.
And yes, and Jack says new grassroots systems to replace the old top-down system. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And Abigail, ladies, I must go, have to feed my family. I'm off knitting group tonight. Have a wonderful time. Thank you,
That's
Abigail.
fantastic. I thought we should bring our knitting onto this show, Brigitte, and sit and knit
Yes,
with everybody.
when my wrist is better, I will, because I've knitted my granddaughter sent me this beautiful slate and said, "You're the best grandmother. You're the best.
Oh,
You're the best grandmother ever." And there is this grandmother knitting, and I used to knit everything for my grandchildren.
you've
We
knitted the
should.
most beautiful things, Brigitte. You make lovely dresses for yourself. Brigitte is
Yeah.
such a real amazingly talented woman. You'd be
Thank
astonished
you.
at what she can do.
For the moment, I'm just doing my healing. So, Sharon, we should. It is wonderful. Yes, that's what I started in France, and it just was created totally spontaneously on a car park where I get my vegetables, which is a greenhouse car park of Emily, my friend, who I used to work when I had group work, and I was talking with Brigitte and another woman who does beautiful work to by hand, and she's a yoga teacher. And I said, after we'd done some work like what Juliet was sharing earlier on, there was somebody was being activated about what terrible things were happening in the field. And I said, let's just join, let's just have a circle. And so I'm going to do that once a month. And it's free and anybody can come.
Yeah, Sharon, Sharon, she says she has more chance of defeating the New World Order than of learning to knit. Sharon, it's so easy.
Well, I could teach you crochet, Sharon.
It's
I
so
could
easy.
teach you crochet.
Next week, bring your needles. Bring your needles and some wool, and we will teach you. We'll do we'll do a knitting class.
I can do a knitting class. I can do a crochet class. I can do changing the sink system to
Brigitte can
make it
teach you
work.
how to do plumbing as well. Jack needs a scarf, but Jack, if you need your plumbing fixed, Brigitte can also help you.
You need a scarf, Jack. Okay, I will check. I've got some brown wool that I've got left. I've got other things. Give me some colors and I will check what I've got. Okay. Hello, a bit late, but listening with my wife, Debbie Graham. She ordered me to have my annual bath. Oh my God, loads of love, great. Well, to enjoy your annual bath, why don't you just put some lovely candles all around your bath, some lovely Epsom salts, and some lovely lavender essential oil.
Yeah.
If you've got that, and if you haven't, and if you want to really take off, how about a little bit of what's the one that we have in salads on tomatoes? Basil. Basil. And
Basil in the bath.
yes, basil essential oil. It helps you to not feel dragged down. But for anybody who tends to be disconnected, don't use basil, please. Basilic. It's basilic. Basilic? Yes.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's
French.
yes, maybe. But I never ever used it when I used to do massage. I never used it on someone who had a tendency to be really out of the body. But someone who tendency to be heavy or depressed, I would use a little bit of basil.
Okay, that's
Okay.
new. I didn't know that.
Basilic. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what else have we got? Juliet and Mabby, you are both so uplifting and interesting. Thank you so much. I'm going to make a cup of tea when you're finished. And now when I think of tea, I think of you both. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, tea
well,
is red medicine.
I'm up for that. Yes, we will. Fantastic. Well, Jack, you've got to tell us what colors, because I've got, as Juliet will say, Mabby's house is an attic. I've got in the attic so much material and so much wool because I knew there would be a shortage. I know ahead of time what's going to be needed. So I asked Debbie to join me in the bath and she left the bathroom screaming. Well, Graham, you need to come on those calls weekly because we need to laugh. And you've got a great sense of humor. And I really love that. Well, either she left screaming because maybe you're absolutely a hairy orangutan.
I think that's getting personal, Brigitte.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. But it was a bit personal that she left screaming because you were both in the bath. So I can see you both playing like two children in your bath. We will get some basil and try the bath technique. Yes, do, Green. Yes. And that's a very healing thing to do. Having a bath together, you can play like children.
Yeah, play is a wonderful, wonderful thing, isn't it?
Yeah, play, singing, dancing, and not taking yourself too seriously, because what is unfolding is cosmological right now.
She says it's good that you smell, Graham. Everybody smells.
Okay, if you become vegetarian, you won't smell anymore. But then she will miss your smell.
People bond over smells.
Yeah. I'm now smiling a lot. Thank you, beautiful ladies. Thank you both. Well, I will say one thing that's a bit heavy. I just listened to a video recently, and the PCR test that so many people are having is it's quite a destructive thing for the amygdala, and the amygdala enables us to taste, to feel, to be delighted with our senses. So if you can stay away from those, stay away from them, please. We need our amygdala. Okay. We dance salsa, bachata, and rock and roll. Ah, I used to dance the rock and roll, and I love dancing. I really love dancing.
Yeah, so that's another wonderful thing to do, to dance, to move your body, to have hot Epsom salt baths, to go on walks, to drink tea.
Yeah.
You know, these are all ways of shining your light.
And lovely Debbie, she's saying she's really laughing here at your responses to Gray. Yeah, well, I was just told off because that was a bit too personal for Juliet.
I'm quite a crudish English lady. Not like
well, I'm not. I'm French.
continental.
So.
The continental, the French, they're very.
Well, I did share in the summer we so long. I think I shared that last week with Fiona in Australia, who is waiting for the wet. And when we were with my family, my children were waiting, longing after 40 degrees from June till the end of August. We hardly had any rain. Sometimes we had no rain. And I'll say, when the storm would burst, we'd be running out. And often we're just in our pants and we would just be celebrating. And it was wonderful. Yes, Sharon, have a good evening. Thank you, and keep smiling. Yes, keep shining. And you too, Sharon, and thank you for all you share. I love it. It's amazing. You're making,
yes,
absolutely love it. Love what you're doing. Keep going.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. And Graham says the connection to our immune system is vital. So in order to keep your immune system connected, which is so important, you have to resource, you have to relax the body, because whenever you're stressed, your immune system turns off. This is why resourcing is so important, why the baths and the fun, the play is really important.
Yeah,
so
no,
my dear,
we are at the hour, Sharon. I know. We've just we started late because we had problems connection. So yes, the immune system. Thank you, Graham. And I was reading recently that it really matters every day to have vitamin D3, B12, magnesium, zinc,
vitamin C.
And vitamin C. Sorry, I meant to say that one first. So, and drink it throughout the day. The vitamin C and magnesium, I mix them together and I drink it throughout the day. So this is like a hygiene as at this time. Okay, beautiful ladies, I have to leave you now. Thank you for your wisdom, teaching, and love. Good night and blessings to you all. Blessings, Jacqueline. Thank you for tonight's sharing, you beautiful multidimensional beings of light. Yes, and I only touch on the multidimension tonight. But if you knew that the planets are absolutely on track with us, right now we're Scorpio, shadow work. Next month, 21st, 22nd, we're moving with Sagittarius, Jupiter, the law. All the court cases are coming in the open. So every month we're having work and it's aligned with the planets. the cosmos and us, we are together. So the planets are helping us, and they're shifting. They're shifting
So
as we shift.
lots of love to everybody. Shine your light, resource, be well, togetherness. So
And Graham, may I suggest you don't dance salsa in the bath? Or you don't dance the rock and roll in the bath. I don't know what the batacha is. I'm looking forward to you next week to know a little bit more about what is the batacha. Maybe that's something you and your lady do together. I miss so much that I'm going to listen from the beginning. In fact, I will listen twice like I did last week. I can't get enough of your lovely voices either. Thank you, Debbie. Well, we did have some glitches. I got kicked out of the room, so I had to plug the connection with my phone. Okay. And then we had difficulties connecting with the restream.
we're doing our best, you know. We're pensioners, both of us, so you know. I'm so happy, Debbie, and everyone that this is really supportive to
so
you.
Thank you, Therese. I didn't hear you speak, but I know you were here sitting with us. I love you. And thank you for each one of you sitting around this fire.
Yeah.
And thank you for all your shared wisdom, because really we are shifting this community. We are creating this new community. I love it. Thank you.
Yeah, lots of love. Go and drink tea now.
Bye-bye, Jacqueline, Jack, Debbie. And Jack, remember, let me know. Two very beautiful pensioners. No, definitely not. I am not a pensioner.
I said we were pensioners, Brigitte.
Oh, you did?
We are pensioners. Well, we're more than pensioners, but I'd just like bringing.
Oh, no. There is that word has been.
Oh, yeah, this is a French interpretation, I'm sure. It's like different connotations.
Okay. Well, I won't go there then. Because if I was, I might have retired and done nothing and sat on my bum, like many, watching TV. I don't do that.
No, that's not what I meant. What I meant was like how marvelous it is that we're managing this technology even if things go wrong.
I mean, if you think of our age, both of us, and we're managing technology, like, yeah, I'm very proud of ourselves. Juliet, I'm very proud of you. Congratulations.
That's what I meant when I said we are pensioners. It's like, we're doing really well.
Yeah.
And okay, everyone here is doing well.
And Graham, it's a lovely environment you have created. Yes, and we are going to make sure we keep it that way, Graham. Yes, Melanie, yes, it's amazing. And we are keeping our vibrancy, and whatever is being hitting us in the face, like me crying last Sunday and Monday, and Juliet was there really supportive. I just needed to cry and feel the sadness as I keep witnessing how deeply into amnesia and into absolute living being emptied of even thinking through that this is just a nightmare for me to witness my children and grandchildren still completely fast asleep. And that's how it is. So as a pensioner, that's what you want us to be named. I've risen up again, but I did go into the sadness, and it matters to feel. Juliet is better with computers than I am, lol, says Melanie. Yes, don't forget, she's Aquarian. Her birth sign is Uranus. Uranus is the lightning and the thunder, two energies of absolute speed. Okay, technology. That's Juliet. I don't have that. I have Sun opposition Uranus. So for me, I am very fast to once I get it. And like Juliet says, I don't know how you got it, Brigitte, but you do.
Yeah.
And my children say, how did you do that, Mum? Oh, Gran, oh, Nan. I said, I don't know.
So I'm hopeless at fixing plumbing. Brigitte's very good at it.
And I can do electricity too. So I used to.
Anyway, we are going now.
We're going. Loads of love.
Lots of love, everyone. Do share the video if you can.
Oh, yes, please share them, please.
Send to your friends.
Yes, Melanie, yes. I can come to anybody and do their plumbing. Definitely.
Okay, lots of love to you all.
Bisous, bisous.
Bisous.
Bisous. But Graham, I will let you do your own plumbing with your lady.
Oh la la. Take it back. Take it back.
No. The video of me in the bath. No. We needed to finish on laughter. Lillian, oh, I'm sorry, we missed you. That was a little bit of a joke. So far, I rarely speak my truth about the situation with my family. Just living my truth upsets most of them. I pray the rosary each day that they will be guided to do what is right for them, and especially the children.
Oh,
well, Marion, make your rosary the rosary of joy, darling. Make the rosary of the mysteries of joy, please. And then you will lift your family. Okay? That's what I have to say, Marianne. Because the church, the Catholic Church, stayed with the mysteries of pain, as having been brought up as a Catholic, I now deal with the mysteries of joy. And that really matters, because Christ has risen. The energy of Christ, which is love, moving through us. This is what we are experiencing. And Christ was reborn. He didn't stay dead. He was reborn. He appeared to everyone. But the church inverted that matrix. So they would be hooking into the souls of the people. Why? Because when the people go to church, they leave money. When the people die, they leave money. The daughters who refused to wed to the ones that they were meant to be wed, they were sent to the convent, and their dowry went to the church as deception. So if you are going to do the rosary, yes, and rejoice. Do the rosary with the mysteries of joy. Okay. That's what I wanted to share.
Oh, Marion, macrame is the size of your needles. It's the size of your needles.
It just looks like macrame when I'm done, but I love the process and being in the presence of it. Yeah. I would love to knit or crochet, Marianne. Just looks like macrame. Yes, it does.
The right size needles for the thickness of the wool.
Yes. So if you want to do crochet, if you want to crochet something to hang a flower, you need to do a crochet in a circular, and then you put your flower pot in it. But I would suggest doing macrame for a flower pot, because then it's made with string.
No, Brigitte, she's saying they're knitting. She's talking about the tension of the wool.
I don't see that. I would love to knit or crochet. It just looks like macrame when I'm done. But yes, I love the process.
The tension is too loose. So it's
okay. All right. All right.
I'm saying it's the size, Marianne, it's the size of your needles,
and
your wool, that you have to get the right combination.
Yes. And another thing, it could be that you let go of the needles every time. I will share a story with you next week about what happened to me when I was 14 in the summer. And my mother bought some, it wasn't wool, it was some kind of acrylic. She said, "You're going to start knitting." And I ended up with a pullover I was so skinny then. I'm still slim, but it was big enough to fit
a polar bear.
Yes, a big pregnant polar bear. And they all laughed. I used to do macrame in school as a little girl, but I cannot remember how to do it. It's so simple. It's a question of how many strands. I will try. Once my wrist is a little bit easier, I'm getting a Spooky 2, and I'm going to have scalar waves on Friday morning on it. And once that's easier, what I might do next week is bring a little bit of knitting and show you, or maybe a bit of macrame and show you how you just bring it and do it and then take it down. Okay? Have fun.
Okay. Lots of love, everybody. Go and drink tea if you would like now. I'm going to go and have a cup of tea.
Yeah, loads of love.
Loads of love.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Be
Thanks
blessed.
for joining us. Share the video. Thanks for joining.
Bye-bye. People have been tuned for this event for many years. Instant gratification via TV and mass media tell us what to think and how to act. Don't think for yourselves. Go with the herd.
Yeah.
Yes, but we are teaching a different herd, darling. We're really bringing the herd back into a thriving herd where each one connects with everyone. Enjoyed your joy and wisdom. Yes, and I enjoyed having you, Lillian. The children need to learn to play again. I can see Juliet is not so happy about me playing. Come on, I'm being the French. My child is out.
Yeah, loads of love, Jack.
Loads of love, Jack.
Okay, bye.
You've said bye 5 times, Juliet.
No,
Fantastic.
bye. I mean it this time.